talk to us about who you are. Introduce yourself and let everyone know what your organization does for the community.
Sure. Well, I'm Adrienne Wilson. I'm founder of Feed Our Soul. What we do for the community is we do restorative justice. So we find places and spaces in order to bring access to fresh and local produce to South Los Angeles residents and other communities that are suffering from food insecurity.
And you also focus on hydroponics.
Yes.
For all those who don't know what that is, can you please briefly explain that?
Absolutely. So we install hydroponic farms into schools and residences and teach them how to grow as also cook their homegrown produce. And a hydroponic farm is a soilless farm, so it works with air, sunlight, and purely water in order to grow the freshest and most natural greens in an urban setting.
And why is this important for you to bring it to communities of color?
It's important to bring them to communities of color because it's the most sustainable way in order to bring fresh produce to an urban landscape. Because you're using 90% less land, you're using 90% less water, as well as recycled water. And that technology is something that is not really seen in Black and Brown communities, nor is it even cultivated or even taught in Black and Brown communities. So once I saw my first hydroponic farm, I was like, this is the best thing for us in order for us to not only learn technology, but also get back into agriculture and be able to feed ourselves the most healthy and fresh food possible.
Why is the cause of food insecurity important to you? Did you grow up with food insecurity, or were you around it?
That's a good question. So I didn't grow up food insecure, but I did grow up in a food desert, unbeknownst to myself, right? So I grew up here, in South Los Angeles, and I was always just a normality for me for us to drive to Culver City, or even further than that when I was younger. We drove to Playa Vista,
Wow.
we drove to Manhattan Beach in order to get fresh food, fresh
my
produce. We drove to Hollywood, because that's where my dad wanted to go, and I knew when I was younger, I was always like, why is dad going to the grocery store so early in the morning? But it was because he had to wake up and drive so far in order to get the best produce and then be able to make it back to our family so that we can have our family dinners. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't understand and realize that I lived in a food desert. But once I started getting into, this career and I understood, what that actually meant, not being able to access fresh produce, not being able to walk there, not being able to have it in my local communities, then that poses a real issue for me. And it makes me feel that people, if they can't get access to fresh produce, then they aren't able to then live fresh and healthy lives for themselves. All right, so that's why there are so many systemic things happening in South LA and Inglewood, and in other totally nations around, and other cities around this nation, because we are looking for places for us to be able to grow our own food and take our environmental struggles back. I think the environmental issues really equate to what is happening with health, what's happening with our food, what's happening with our taxes and real estate. There's so many different reasons why. So I feel like this is the best way for us to take back our communities and empower ourselves so that we can live healthy and thriving lives.
Wow, that's wonderful. Is that why you wanted to become a chef?
Absolutely. Well, I became a chef because I love food, right? And who doesn't love food? I became a chef because I wanted to learn how to cook amazing things for myself. Because, I was a young girl. I was, broke in the city. I didn't know what to do. So I was like, but I truly love food and I love eating. So I was like, let me learn how to cook my own food. Then I can live in a gourmet chef life, without going out in the comfort of my home. So that's why I became a chef. But really what kind of pivoted me from being a chef to really working in hydroponics was that food desert, discovery for me when working in the back of the house of kitchens, and I started doing inventories and I started understanding how little farmers are getting just from the produce that they're growing and trying to bring it all to feed us. And then the markup that happens in restaurants, I just thought it was so unfair and so astronomical, especially when you go into organic produce and produce that actually has less pesticides, that's actually healthier for you. But now it's worth 3 times for the price because it's coming from certain areas and places. So I became a chef, but I really did decide to change my career into teaching other people how to do it what I do, because if I can do it, then they can do it too.
And don't you teach classes to help other people learn how to cook healthy?
Yes, yes. So we do teach workshops, cooking workshops that teach you how to cook online. We do them on Instagram, and I'm also working on getting our program out so that we can do them weekly. But I do teach at schools as well, because I think it's important for students to learn how to eat healthily. I really love working with student athletes as well. I work with the Underrated Training Academy in Inglewood, California, teaching them teaching how these young male athletes with these growing bodies, how to make a vegan smoothie, understand what juicing does and how that benefits your body, and how that really can fuel your muscles so that you can be a stronger, more powerful athlete, and also person in general. So there's just so many ways and so many things that people can do that are inexpensive, that are not so cost heavy, and just with small investments and small tips and tricks, they can live a healthy life as well.
Are you vegan or plant-based?
I am plant-based. That's
Okay.
how I like to say
Okay.
it. I do not eat meat. I am technically a vegetarian,
Okay.
but I do eat some fish every once in a while. But I go by the 80-20 rule. So
Okay.
I try to do 80% of my meals, so most of them are plant-based, and then the other 20%, I might slide in some sushi every once in a while.
So every week, every Friday, you hold a food distribution.
Yes.
Why was it important to you to bring free food to the community?
Yes. Well, so many different reasons. One, again, well, we were entering into the COVID-19 pandemic, and that was really kind of a big catalyst for me, not only for me, but for everyone, to see the broken food system that I already had been, working to trying to solve. But once that pandemic happened, then so many people lost their jobs. So many people lost their ability to access food or to afford fresh food. And I just thought, why not create a space and a place where people can get the food that they need, they can get whatever they want, whether it's something they have seen before or whether it's something brand new to them, giving them the opportunity to access fresh food and also learn how to eat new food, new different types of produce, and then we can give it away for free. Like, why not? I don't need to be paid for this. I don't need to be able to receive funds. What feeds me is other people getting a relief from their life. I'm trying to be a positive, influence on this earth. And if I can alleviate, a young mom or a struggling teen, if I can give them some apples and some carrots and teach them, and I can give that weekly and teach them how to cook it themselves, then that's a win-win for me.
I totally agree. And is that where your name Feed Our Soul comes from? Talk to us about the name of your organization.
Oh yes. Oh man. It's so funny. Feed Our Soul came out of just kind of bouncing ideas around with some of my friends. I definitely wanted the word feed in it. It is a verb. It's something that's active, that goes in multiple ways, right? But the word "our" is really, really inclusive. It's supposed to be a universal mindset,
Okay.
and say that, if I give to you, then you can also then give to me. And I believe in this regenerative cycle, not only with humans but also with nature. That's why I got into gardening as well, because if I can give just a little bit of time to Mother Nature and nourish this plant, and the plant feeds me, and then I feed it. And I truly believe in that cycle of life. I believe in that energy all around. So if we can create, a solid place to reverberate that positive energy, then that's where Feed Our Soul comes from, and that's what we're all about.
I love the concept. We at FoodCycle, we believe in the same exact thing. And so how do you, what is your take on working with other organizations in the community to make this vision come alive? I know you've worked with us before and in many other organizations.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about working with other people and just making this even bigger than what it is.
Absolutely. I think, the teamwork makes the dream work 110%. I cannot do everything by myself. And, I think if everyone starts opening up their mind and seeing that if we all contribute to one thing, again, going back to that collective mindset, that universal space, then we all can win. There is enough food out here for everybody. There is enough space and housing for everybody. There is enough water for everybody. Like, I truly, truly believe that. And if we get out of a privatizing mindset where things are just ownership and, this greed that has kind of infiltrated our society, if we really can let that go and just come to a space where we all can live healthily and we all can thrive, then that's where I come from. So I love working with other organizations. I love working with the Social Justice Learning Institute. They're incredible. I love working with Food Forward. They're awesome. I love working with FoodCycle LA, and Supermarket, and so many other organizations, because if we all can come together and work to this good, then we can feed the people, and we're all are working on the same team. So why not?
You were recently featured in the newspaper.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Talk about your feature. Talk about your recent collaboration.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was like such a shock. Yes. So Feed Our Soul was really proud and honored to work with the Prosperity Market, and they are the first mobile all Black owned farmers vendors market. And the goal of that market is not only to provide a space for Black owned vendors to give their beautiful work, but also, hi cutie, but also to be able to bring Black vendors out to other neighborhoods, right? Because people can always travel in Inglewood, and Black people we already know what's happening, right? We already know who's doing all the work, but the point is to bring it out to Santa Monica, to bring it to the Palisades, let's bring it to Hollywood, let's bring all these Black vendors out to different spaces so that other people can be exposed to them. Because sometimes in LA people get real stuck in their little bubbles, and LA can be so huge. And so I was able to, so excited to partner with the Prosperity Market. So we just did the first vendor market yesterday, which was a great success, huge success. We had cooking demos from Chef Brandy. We had farmers from Farmer Ken, and we also had Sola Food Co-op as well. Just coming there, letting people know that they can eat healthily, they can have access to fresh food. And then today we're doing a free produce giveaway, a free produce market, and thanks to our partners at Food Forward, and they donated about a pallet of food, over 1,000 pounds of food. So we're so grateful and thankful to them, so that we're able to make some produce bags and then hand them out to the community today.
Oh, that sounds so awesome. I cannot wait to see what's coming for you in the future. You're doing a great job and great work in the community, and you know what, everything good is going to come to you because you have extended yourself and you are doing all this for free, and your motives and your heart are all in the right place, and I just wish you all the success in the entire universe.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Queen.
You're welcome.
That.
And if there's anything that FoodCycle can do to support you, we are always here. That's what we do. We support other organizations in the community and their work in getting people fed. So if you ever need us, we're here.
Oh, I'll trust you. I'll give you guys a call. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adrienne.
Of course.